He's still winning. Donald J. Trump doesn't need an office in Washington, D.C. for his legacy to live on forever. And the left is slowly beginning to realize this. There's a truth they're not going to be able to avoid, something Donald J. Trump saw a long time ago. In today's video, we're going to cover this for you. It's something that nobody else is talking about. Now, I'm sure many of you are aware of what Operation Warp Speed was. It was the plan to get a vaccine out in less than a year. And everyone on the left said, oh, not possible, not possible. Well, it happened. And it was pretty much single-handedly done by then President Donald Trump. It's been such a success that the left has had to shift their narrative to the rollout in certain states. But they don't like to talk about this for one reason and one reason only. Because regardless of what your opinion of the vaccine is, it's going to have an effect. And the effect is this: people are going to start to become less and less afraid. This is what terrifies the left, ironically. Leaders set high standards, and they refuse to tolerate mediocrity or poor performance. If only our leaders in D.C. were like that these days. Making excuses for this, excuses for that. Saying things like, oh, we're going to have a super dark winter. Oh, things are going to get worse before they get better. It's not what you want to hear from your leaders. Even if that's the case, that's not how leaders speak. It's not how they react. In fact, leaders don't react, they're proactive. Now, here is the key. Here is the focus. As people get vaccinated, and in Florida, we've vaccinated over 1 million. Around the country, more and more people are getting vaccinated. As they get vaccinated, the case counts are dropping, the hospitalizations are dropping. That is the goal. That is the goal of the vaccination. But as that happens, schools start to reopen. Businesses start to reopen. People become less and less afraid. Which leads me to this. Keep your distance from people who will never admit they are wrong and who always try to make you feel like everything's your fault. There's a group within the media on the left that has actually kind of enjoyed the last year a little bit, because they were either naturally introverted or they didn't like social settings for whatever reason. And all the work from home has been the great equalizer. Well, now, actually having to go back out and socialize with people and having standards return to higher levels, meaning everybody could have used COVID as an excuse for this, that, or the other for the last year. As that goes away, so does the excuse making. And even their own audience is going to be turned off to this. They're going to be tired of the fear. They're going to be tired of the let's be scared. They're going to be tired of that. Because having survived this year of pandemic, so to speak, it's going to take a lot more to scare people, especially on the left. And that's how they make their money. They're fear mongers. They're fear merchants. They have no place in their business model for hope. To be happy, you must let go of what's gone. Be grateful for what remains and look forward to what's coming next. You see, that's where we are as conservatives. Letting go of the idea that all good things must come from DC and that we can make good things happen for ourselves right here in our counties, cities, states, towns, and turn off the noise and be happy. And turn off the noise and be happy. The allegation that I'm making here is that Donald Trump saw a day when America would return to normal with a lot higher tolerance, or less of, I guess, depending on how you would look at it, for fear. We were going to always beat the virus. It was just a matter of time. But what happens after that? You see, that's the key. That's what people are going to hone in on. They're going to hone in on people that are comfortable being in leadership positions, comfortable being happy, and giving a message of hope. And that's not what the left thrives on. And some people have suffered, more so than others. But sometimes hardships prepare ordinary people for extraordinary destinies. Hardships often prepare ordinary people for extraordinary destinies. C.S. Lewis. And that's what this was really all about. And like I said before, it really doesn't matter whether you want to take the vaccine or you don't want to take the vaccine, or what you think about it or what you don't think about it. The effect is going to be less fear across the country. And as people become less fearful, they are by definition becoming more hopeful. And as normalcy returns, as much as it can, as people start to come back out of their shells and businesses reopen, you see, even as much as they're going to want to try to attribute this to Joe Biden or attribute this to the new administration, it's still going to have an effect that's going to be deleterious to their business model. It's going to be deleterious to the business model of the left. Because every time they talk about the vaccine, they're going to have to talk about Operation Warp Speed. They're going to have to talk about someone setting a high standard, an almost impossibly high standard, and refusing to tolerate mediocrity or poor performance. They're never going to be able to get away from this. It truly is not going to matter to people going forward anymore who is or who is not in the White House. Because people will have realized their own personal power again. That they can, and their personal agency. And Abby Martin talks about this and has been talking about this. I wish I would have brought up a picture of her from the Empire Files for a long time. Having your own personal agency and using it to create hope and create change within your own communities, within your own localities. That's why I've said Florida is just the beginning. It is just the beginning. Minority Leader McCarthy was in our wonderful state yesterday visiting with Mr. Trump. He is a Republican from California. You might ask yourself why. This is why. This is the reason. Because hope is coming. This is all going to pass. It's not going to go on forever. And as people return to normal, they're going to look back at this time. And they're going to remember who made them scared, who made them afraid, who made them angry. And they're going to remember who gave them hope for the future. He saw this. He saw this day coming, and it's a result of living a hopeful life. It's a result of not getting so caught up in the moment that you can't see tomorrow. And I'll leave it there. God bless. Have a great weekend. Like, share, subscribe.